convicted murderer. Oscar Pistorius' second parole hearing is set to be heard today in Pretoria. The former Paralympian is hoping for an early release after serving half of his 13-year prison sentence for the murder of his girlfriend Reeva Steenkamp back in 2013. In a statement released a short while ago, Reeva Steenkamp's mother, June, saying she does not believe that Pistorius has been rehabilitated. She says Pistorius failed to tell the truth on what really happened on that fateful day. Let's get some update now, and we speak to a former BBC journalist and author, Hamilton Wende, who is outside the Kgosi Mampuru prison. Hamilton, good morning to you, and thank you very much for your time. Quite a lot of interest, particularly from foreign media, around Oscar Pistorius' possible early release. Are you able to describe just the scene where you are gathered at the moment?
Yeah, there is a lot of media interest here. A lot of people are still obviously covering what's happening in Gaza and Israel, but there is a significant international interest in the story, and there's quite a few journalists. We are waiting. We've had a very powerful update, which you alluded to in your intro, from Rob Matthews, reading on behalf of June Steenkamp. Very, very powerful, really heartfelt testimony from her and through Rob. I've never been to a press conference where the journalists, Rob said to us, "Are there any questions?" And the journalists just looked at each other. She and he together, the two of them had said it all. It was very powerful, grieving Reeva, remembering the loss of a wonderful woman.
You are talking to us about Rob Matthews, presumably. This would be the father of the late Lee Matthews. We know that her killer is, I think it's Donovan Moodley, who is understood to be in prison right now, unless, of course, they may have been released. My memory seems to fade me here. But what did Rob have to say in remembering Reeva Steenkamp, Hamilton?
Well, he was reading from June Steenkamp's own testimony. She felt that she was too exhausted, too mentally kind of worn out to address the media in person. But she gave a very powerful statement about her daughter. Rob, of course, is a very well-known person in terms of what happened to his own daughter and the tragedy that befell their family. And one got a real sense of a shared compassion and a shared feeling of loss. And that's what I think struck us as journalists very powerful.
Is there a possibility, Hamilton, that you as media who are gathered there are going to at all get any update? And I'm saying this on the back of the very victim impact statement that was read on behalf of June Steenkamp by Rob Matthews, because I just want to take one line from that victim impact statement, and I quote now, June Steenkamp saying, "At this time, I am not convinced that Oscar has been rehabilitated. Rehabilitation requires someone to engage honestly with the full truth of his crime and the consequences thereof." It would appear to me, at least, that based on that, the Steenkamp family is not quite ready for Oscar Pistorius to be released from prison. Are you hearing anything from the Pistorius side or even the prison authorities?
No, we haven't heard anything from that side or from the prison authorities. We will be getting some updates as the parole hearing goes on. We're expecting one, well, we're not quite sure, but relatively soon. As there are breaks in the hearing, we will get updates, and we expect a final statement sometime later in the day. But at this point, we are simply, like the audience, just simply waiting to hear.
Oscar Pistorius, a former Olympic champion, is that the reason why you think that there is still a lot of international interest in him possibly being released on parole?
Absolutely. I mean, the story of Oscar before the horrible and tragic events of Reeva's murder was a story of great hope, of great achievement. It was a story of overcoming tremendous odds to be the first Paralympic athlete to race at the Olympics. It was a powerful story that gripped the world, almost a mythological story of human endeavor. And this horrible fall from grace is what has captured the world's attention.
Hamilton Wende, thank you very much for giving us that update. A former BBC journalist and author who is among the hordes of international journalists who are huddled around the Kgosi Mampuru prison right now, waiting to hear any word on whether or not Oscar Pistorius will be released on parole.